If you are new to the idea of prepping, knowing where and how to start can be overwhelming. So today we'll be discussing a few things you may want to consider and a few questions you may want to ask before you get started. And if you're not new to the game, perhaps there are a few things here that may act as a refresher for you. Perhaps there's something here you may not have thought of for a while that you could revisit. So let's go ahead and get started. Number one, ask yourself, what exactly are you prepping for? I know the general idea is to be prepared for any event, but that's not the best place to start. Trying to prepare for every possible eventuality all at once is completely overwhelming for a new person. In fact, it can be completely overwhelming for someone who's been prepping already. So for the beginner, I would recommend making a list of possible scenarios that you may be preparing for and then prioritize that list. Then start working on the most important items first. Number two, take an inventory. Take a look at what you already have that is or could be considered prep, even just the basics. Do you have extra blankets? Do you have extra hygiene products? Are there any alternative light or heating sources in the house? Do you own any camping supplies? Have you got some duct tape? How much extra food or water do you already have on hand? If you already have prep related items in your home, then you've got yourself a head start in the game. Number three, make a shopping list. Now that you know what you have, it's time to consider what you don't. What items do you need in order to be ready for what you are preparing for? Prioritize that list from most to least important and start working your way down. Number four, budget yourself. Now that you have a shopping list, make sure that you run that list down on a budget. Contrary to popular belief due to the media and over-exaggerated prepping channels, preppers seem to be with a completely unlimited income. But that simply is not true. The majority of preppers are regular people with average income, so they, and likely you, need to budget your purchases. So don't be intimidated by prepping channels who show off all the expensive gear. Be frugal and shop around for the best prices. And don't turn your nose up at thrift stores and garage sales. I have found many great deals at those places and even showcased my finds on this channel. Number five, obtain hard copies of important information. We live in a digital age, and as such, almost anything important is on a computer file or a thumb drive or in a phone or something like it. But as a prepper, this just won't do. You should find books on prepping, farming, survival, first aid, and anything else you think is relevant, and keep them on hand. Or if you find anything helpful online, you can print that off anytime. You should also have paper maps and a list of family and friends' phone numbers and addresses. Remember, if you found yourself in a long-term grid-down situation, you won't be able to access any of that information if you don't have it in paper form. Number six, get some water. This one is easy, and also one of the most important. You won't last long without clean water, and during a disaster, there's a good chance that the tap will go off. For the most part, water is cheap. You could start stocking up on it right away. You could even fill empty, clean containers right out of your tap if you wanted and store that away. Just remember to use food-grade containers, not anything that held chemicals. I would also keep products on hand for filtering and disinfecting water, just in case. Number seven, start filling that pantry. If you don't have any food stocked up, start simple with a 24-hour food supply, preferably food that doesn't need to be cooked, since you may not be able to cook if the utilities are down, or you may not want to draw attention to yourself by creating smoke from cooking. So start simple and build on that. There are many foods that are relatively inexpensive that last for a very long time that you can stock up on. It doesn't have to be super expensive 30-year survival packs. It could be as simple as beans and rice and peanut butter. Number 8, run some drills. If you are preparing for a specific emergency or emergencies, then you should practice those scenarios by running drills. This is how you will help to perfect your reaction to those situations and potentially expose any weakness in your plans. Number 9, learn your environment. Most people don't really know the layout of their own neighborhood. Take the time to walk around and get to know the layout of your environment. How many houses? How many streets? Where and how do they intersect? Are there any wooded areas? Any water sources? Where do they lead? And so on. Get to know what's in your area. And number 10, get some training. Training is one of the most important items on the list and often the most overlooked. Someone who's very well trained can find a way to get by if they are caught without their preps, which can and does happen. Keeping in mind that some training can be quite expensive, you don't have to start too big. So start with the basics if you have a limited budget. Often even local sporting goods stores can offer inexpensive camping-style training classes for cheap. Adult swim lessons don't cost that much either, and most communities have inexpensive or even free first aid training. You get the idea. And on another note, remember, you are your own best prep. You can work out for free. And you just knew I had one more for you, didn't you? Call it number 11 if you will. Practice makes perfect. I've said it before, too many preppers are people who just own stuff. Don't be that guy. Get out there and practice what you've learned and experiment with what you've studied. Just the knowledge isn't enough without getting your hands dirty. Remember, it could save your life one day. So I hope you found this list helpful. If you have any other suggestions, feel free to post them in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up, always appreciated. Share the video if you can and subscribe if you are new. Check out some of the other videos for more interesting content. And if you would like to help out this channel, there are links for that down below. Any support is always appreciated. That being said, as always, stay frosty folks, and thanks for watching.